Hello, my lovelies. Elsie here to do a reading for you. It is for the full moon in Virgo, which is coming up on the 24th of February. So it is the full moon in Virgo, and what it's going to, the energy that it's going to give us, this beautiful Virgo energy, is going to really make us go over the things that do work for us and don't work for us. And it's going to make us release the things that are not working for us. This is a higher energetic time. So for some of you, you could be having, spiritual upgrades. You could be upgrading your energies as the full moon comes by. Virgo will ground us, and it is ruled by Mercury. So it is going to be sort of a time of observation, right? Because Mercury is sort of all up in the head. What's going on all up in the head? And I feel like with Virgo's coming in to make us realize that where more structure is needed in our lives. So it's also going to be about how do we nourish our bodies? How do we structure our lives? And the divine balance that we have within. Now, all of this is happening during Pisces season. And Pisces season is all about introspection and tapping into your emotions and your psychic energy. So you can see how those two beautiful energies are going to collide. All right, let's take a look at it based on that information that we already know. Let's take a look at the Moonology. I've pulled out Gaia. Haven't used Gaia in a while. We'll take one of those as well. Tell me about the collective. This is a collective reading, so it is for any and all signs. I will call it the signs and symbols if you need to know them and hear them, but please put on your intuitive hat to know if this is resonating with you. Let's take a look here. Look at this full moon in Virgo coming up in Pisces season. Tell me about the full moon in Virgo for the collective, please. We do have work through your fears. That could be some of the things that you need to release. We're talking about releasing the things that are not working for us. It does say new moon in Scorpio. So I feel like for some of you, if you are going to make cuts, over this full moon, I feel like it's going to be through silence. It's going to be because Scorpio, nothing terrible to say about Scorpio. You know how much I love that energy, but Scorpio can nothing you. Scorpio can just pull back and you'll never hear or see from them again. And it could be that. Maybe that's what you're planning on doing. It may be as sudden as that. So work through your fears. Here it says, a new moon in Scorpio. Work through your fears. Tell me what else is coming up for the collective. We do have the end of a tough cycle approaches. I love that because for some of you, you are going to be looking over things with a fine-tooth comb, Virgo energy, looking over all the details, knowing what works for you, what's not working for you. It's time to release some of that. And so the end of a tough cycle is approaching here, full moon in Capricorn. And with the full moons are always about releasing things that are no longer necessary for our lives, right? It's the end of chapters. It's the end of cycles. And then we have the energy is gaining momentum. So it feels like for some of you, you're not going to be able to avoid it. As much as you want to avoid it, you may find yourself entangled in an argument with somebody here that you might just decide, you know what, I really don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to deal with this person, this job, this situation, whatever it is. Bottom of the deck, we have bring love into the situation. New moon in Aquarius. So for some of you, you might just bow out gracefully and just say, look, I'm just not into this anymore. I can't do this with you. And for others of you, you just might shut the door. Get them off the friends list. You might just block them everywhere on social media. Some of you just might go with the whole silent treatment. All right. But there are some changes coming up. Definitely changes. All right. I have to watch because there's a lot of nudity in these cards, and that's why I don't usually use them, but I'm not going to let YouTube deter me from using these beautiful cards. So it does say purification. I love it. Purification says bare essentials, the naked truth and wholeness. So you can see why that person on the card is naked, right? So it's about vulnerability, but it's also about purification. And so I feel like some of you are definitely making cuts. I feel like some of you are going to be up in your head with observations that you've been making over the last couple months possibly, and you realize where more structure is needed. So it does say bare essentials, that some of you are going to cut some things out that you no longer needed. It does say the naked truth. Truths are going to come to the surface, and you are going to be cutting out things that you no longer need. This is card number 14, and card number 14 is is the card of Temperance. So I feel that all in all, this is a healing experience. It says fire in quotations or brackets, I should say. It says fire. So that tells me that you are going to be purified through this situation. And it may not be easy. I'm just going to say for some of you, it may not be easy. We do have attachment, letting go, restriction, and fear. So you are letting go of all kinds of restrictions that maybe you had placed on yourself because you didn't want to rock the boat with the workplace or with the friends or with the family or with the lover or something like that. So it feels like some of you will be going through some very big changes. Let's get out some tarot here. Tell me more, please, about the collective, about this full moon in Virgo. What is to be expected over this full moon in Virgo? And please understand that just because the full moon comes and goes, it doesn't mean if you haven't experienced any changes in your life on the 24th, it doesn't mean that it just stops there. It means that these energies are lingering for a long time. So this could mean that going into March, maybe there's changes that you are going to make in March, possibly. All right, let's talk about it. Tell me about the collective, please. What do they need to know about this full moon in Virgo in Pisces season? All right, what have we got here? We've got the Eight of Swords in the upright. We've got the Ace of Wands in the upright. We've got the Six of Wands in the upright. Tell me more. We've got the Queen of Cups. We've got the Six of Swords. And we have the Eight of Cups. Look, it looks like somebody here's making cuts. It really does look that way. The Queen, she's not scared to make cuts. Look, the Queen is kind of the badass of the group. That's how I see her. Someone who is on her own, very independent, very individual, doesn't really depend on anybody to bring her anything. She just goes out and gets what she wants. The same wand that's in her hand is right here in your reading. So I do feel that for some of you, that you have been sort of up in the mind, that you've been thinking about, I don't feel good when I'm with this person, or I don't feel good anymore at the job. I hate going to it. When I open my eyes, the first thing I think of is, how can I call in sick? Like, it feels like you're up in your head about the things that are bothering you, but you're not saying anything. It's like you've placed yourself in this prison of the mind, but you need to work through these fears here, these fears of speaking aloud. Now, when we do speak aloud, sometimes we do it on the spur of the moment, right? In fire. And sometimes in fire, it comes out just like that, and it gets us fired. Or we end up walking off the job, or we end up just not talking to the friend anymore, or we end up ending the relationship. But I do feel that this particular moon is going to, because it's crossing into Pisces season, and we do have water energy here, we have Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer energy here. I do feel that once you make your decision to do whatever it's going to do, whatever cuts it is you're going to make, I don't care what part of your life it's in, you're going to learn to do it in a more compassionate way, because you know that this is the end of a really tough cycle. And Capricorn energy is very slow moving, very grounded, but also understand that Capricorn is the one who is emulating the Empress. So they're practicing being balanced and being kind and being loving. And so I want to say with the Queen of Cups here, that it feels like there is some sort of decision that you are going to make over this full moon. And I feel like you've had already been thinking about this. How do I get around this? The truth of the matter is sometimes there is no way to get around it. You just got to say it, because I think that tippy-toeing around it is what has been making you unhappy, being in the Eight of Swords. I feel like if you find a compassionate way that you can have this new beginning, and that you can do it in a fiery way, open this new passionate path, open this new path of excitement, of new energy, and of possibly being very creative with the way that you decide to close some doors. And so maybe you don't want to make enemies of this person. Maybe you want to be compassionate and say, you know what, you're beautiful and I love you, but I don't think that the two of us jive anymore. I think that we're on two different paths. Do you know what I mean? Instead of going out in a blaze of glory with the Ace of Wands or the Queen of Wands, I feel like you're going to be looking at the situation a little bit differently, because some of you are going to be moving on here. We do have the Six of Swords, and the Six of Swords is, disconnecting from the chaos in order to go to calmer waters. And it feels like with these Six Swords that you've already learned lessons here. And I think that you were just scared to pull away or make the disconnect. But I feel like for a lot of you, you're very close, because the Six of Wands for me is like you're almost at the finish line. This person is almost home. It's like it's the victory after the fight, right? So it's been a really hard time in this thoughtful fight, and you're trying to find a way to compassionately leave whatever you want to leave behind and to go into some sort of new cycle, new passionate cycle. The end of a tough cycle approaches. This is the tough cycle. Learning how to let people go from your life or jobs or situations that never really suited you, that you just kind of took part in because you didn't want to hurt their feelings. You got to stop being so nice. And I know that sounds like terrible advice, but when we are standing ground in our own life for the things we want and the victories we need, we can't be nice to everybody. Not everybody wants for us what we want for ourselves. So we have the Six of Wands here, and this is victory. The energy is gaining momentum. You will get the victory, but first you have to pass through this energy of the Six of Swords. It's going to be really hard, I feel, for some of you to pull away emotionally from something or someone. And I think you'll do it in a very kind and compassionate way, a very loving way, like a mother would, like we've all gotten crap from our mothers where they kind of are disappointed in us. It's like, I still love you, but I'm disappointed. Like, that's kind of the energy I'm getting from the Queen of Cups here. But I want to say that you're no longer engaging in things where you know that you're settling. It's like you probably are friends with somebody that you know that they're rude to the waiter or the waitress, so you avoid going to the restaurant. But instead of avoiding going to the restaurant, maybe you've decided, okay, let's just order in Uber Eats so we don't have to deal with service people. But that's not the way to fix it. The way to fix it is to say to your friend, look, I'm not down with the way you treat service people. I don't like the way you do that. I'm never going out to eat with you again if that's the way it's going to be. It's about being really honest with what you're going to do with your time and how you're moving forward. So I think for some of you, you're not quite here yet. I feel like you're ready to disconnect, but you haven't yet moved to the calm. I think you will have the victory because the energies are gaining momentum. And we do have the end of a tough cycle that's approaching. And I think that the end of the tough cycle really is about the Eight of Cups. It's about not really compromising who you are, because this queen would never compromise, right? She would do things because she's independent of whatever anybody thinks, whatever anybody does. This person is the one who really doesn't care what you think of her. She's coloring outside the lines and doing her own thing. She's letting the freak flag fly. She doesn't really care what you think about her. So let's take a look at this Eight of Swords. Why are you stuck in your head here? Because it looks like you're trying to work through some fears of speaking up, but I think you just need to find ways to speak up compassionately rather than, starting an all-out war. I just heard in my head, Pink say we're all gonna get in a fight, and that goes so what? I'm still a rock star. I'm in my rock moves, and I don't need you. It's like a song of I'm finally standing up for myself. It's about a song about liberation, right? This person, Pink, in this song, she's been screwed over by so many people. She's like, so what? I'm still a rock star. I got my rock moves, and I don't need you. So I feel like that's the energy that we're looking at here. You're afraid to hurt people's feelings. If this is resonating with you, you are someone who's trying to work through your fears of hurting people's feelings. And so maybe you carry on with some things that they want to do and you don't really want to do because you're scared of speaking up for fear of hurting their feelings. The King of Wands is here though, and the King of Wands is the person who's running the kingdom. He doesn't have time to be kind, to be nice, and make sure everyone else is agreeable. I mean, as a whole, the majority, the king has to have the vote of all the people, but nonetheless, this is someone who's always going to do the thing that's best for them. They're always going to move forward, always going to get what they want, but they need to be inspired. And so in the Eight of Swords, I feel like you're hoping for some sort of inspiration to be able to cut away things that no longer serve you here and get a little more order in your pentacle world here. So we do have the King and the Queen of Pentacles. I could have somebody here who's dealing with parents who don't want you to move across the world. They don't want you to quit your to quit university because maybe you were going to school to be a doctor and they wanted you to be a doctor, but what you really want to be is a rock star. Like, I feel like it's sort of that energy. Somebody here doesn't want to disappoint someone else. Somebody here doesn't want to break someone else's heart. And I feel like for some of you, it could be It could be a mom and dad thing or a patriarch, matriarch thing. Maybe it's grandma or grandpa. But it feels like you really do need to make the decision, but do it in a compassionate way. I feel like there is somebody in the family who's on your side who thinks like you, though. Maybe it's family, maybe it's friends. Take it as it resonates. Maybe it's the workplace, right? These two people are people who are leveled up, kings and queens. So this could also be, the operations manager and the assistant operations manager, or the president and the vice president. Take it as it resonates. But these two people are kind of at the top of their game. And I feel like you are trying to be like them. And so I feel like if you are letting something go, something that you've been stuck in the head about, maybe you're at a job you really hate, maybe you're in a relationship that is no longer working for you, it's time to go. But in a compassionate way, because water, Queen of Cups, and fire, the Ace of Wands, water and fire is temperance. And that's always balance. It's always the moment of alchemy. It's time. I have to do it. It's water and fire is what the angel Michael is going back and forth on the card of temperance with, right? Water and fire, trying to find the right moment of alchemy here. Tell me about the Ace of Wands, please. We have the Sun. We have the Page of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords. Some of you are cutting something out, or you're leaving a job or something like that. There is a new opportunity here, and you know that you have to tell the old opportunity that it's time to go. But I do believe you're worrying about it. Now, the Nine of Swords for me is also about cycles. It's time to break the cycle, but you can't break the cycle until you finally have the last sword. So I think until then, you worry about the new opportunity. You need to tell them, and you don't want to tell them. You're worried about it. You're losing sleep. It is time, though. The Sun is here. I feel like you just need to be really clear and honest that you've outgrown whatever is back here. You've outgrown the Eight of Swords. You've outgrown living under other people's roofs or other people's, I feel like maybe other people feel like maybe they put their traditions on you, and maybe you come from a long line of doctors or a long line of fire people, or, you know what I mean? A long line of police officers. And maybe they want you to take over the farm, and you're like, look, I'm not a farmer. I've got opportunities here that are coming in the Pentacle world, and I need to explore those. But I feel like the Sun is the reason why. So the reason why, I think, is because you're growing personally, professionally, spiritually. I think you're growing as a person here, and the Sun is that. I feel like as a whole, if this is about family, that the whole family is going to grow from it. You're going to teach them lessons. You're going to learn lessons. I feel like there's nothing really bad here because the Ace of Wands is here, and I feel like they're going to get over it. They're going to figure out that you got to fly and do the thing that you want to do. So I don't know what your situation is, but it feels like you are going to be making a decision that a lot of people in your life, whoever they are, platonic or romantic, are not going to be in favor of. I feel like you are going to reach this place of victory. I feel like all the people who were the naysayers, the one that didn't want you to go, the ones that didn't want you to fly, they all of a sudden become your cheering section. Because I feel like you do break away and you do your own thing here. And then when they see you succeeding, all of a sudden here they come. And now they want you to know how proud they are of you. We do have the Two of Swords. It feels like it is a really hard decision for you to pull away from the chaos and go to the calm, because 2 and 8 is 2 and 6 is 8, right? So it feels like you have some sort of a block. And so I want to say that that the full moon is going to help you through this block. I feel as though you can't see the future. You don't know how beautiful things are going to be. You can't see the Six of Wands. And I feel like you're still hesitating about moving forward. It's sad. It gives you regret. Am I doing the right thing? Everybody seems to be against me. And maybe if they're not against you, they're kind of naysayers, right? They feel like you can't do it on your own, or whatever it is that you want to do is pulling away from the norm of your friend group or your family or whatever it is. You're pulling away and they're like, it's not going to work. But you don't want to miss the opportunity. You can't miss the opportunity. Please don't miss the opportunity. You will know what I'm talking about if there is an opportunity that comes to you. I feel like please don't miss the opportunity, because you have regrets of how other people are trying to block you from your blessings and from this victory here. Tell me about the Six of Wands, please. Yeah, think about it. Really think about it. I feel like, yeah, look, oh my gosh, look at this. Like it feels like you must take control. You can no longer have people telling you what to do with your life. You must take control. And Virgo energy shows up, right? This moon is in Virgo, this full moon in Virgo, and it's all about finding your light. It's all about finding your light. And then the star, it's all about what you hope for, your hopes, your dreams. You're following your light. You're getting more full of wisdom. I feel like with the energy gaining momentum, that's what this is. I feel like you go into sort of hermit mode, figuring out what it is you're going to do, because you're feeling like the wounded warrior. You're feeling like you're carrying a lot and you're exhausted. You're tired of fighting people off. But I feel like the Ace of Wands being under here is the one that's in her hand. And I feel like you're just going to tell people, look, it's an exciting new opportunity for me to stretch myself, and I got to do it. I pulled out the Emperor first. It's you taking control of your life, you taking control of the situation. And if you're not the Emperor, maybe you are the Empress, but we do have the masculine and feminine here. These two are a couple. Now, for some of you, maybe you've decided to move across the world to get your Emperor or to get your Empress. That could be part of what is going on here too. And I feel like you're a bit behind the fear wall because other people are saying, no, don't do that thing. But this is an opportunity that I feel like you don't want to miss. It doesn't have to do with love. It could be to do with abundance, right? The Empress is all of that. When the Empress is here, all the queens in the room. When the Emperor is here, all the kings are in the room. And it feels like you have a whole group of, I want to say, angels and guides that are cheering you on as long as you decide to take your place in the world, whether you are feminine or masculine. So we've got the Empress here, who is Taurus and Libra. We've got Aries here. We've got Leo. We've got Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. Okay, tell me about the Eight of Cups. Tell me about the Eight of Cups, please. Eight of Cups for the collective in this full moon. Some people, you're not even going to say anything because you know they're going to get defensive over your choices. Some people, you're not even going to say a word. Yeah, I feel like this Eight of Cups here is telling me that you're just going to pull away emotionally and you're not going to say anything. And I don't think that everybody requires an explanation. I feel like the people that are the closest to you will get this explanation. But I feel like some people are going to say to you, oh, so you're just going to depart. You're just going to leave, and you're going to leave all the expectations and everything that you've built here. And you're going to be like, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. But you're not going to want to hear that from everybody. I feel like you need to be really honest with yourself and who you need to pull away from, and who I feel you're settling for, or what you're settling for, because I feel like there's a lot of things under the surface that need to come to the surface in terms of emotional things, that you've been settling for a lot of things that you're not talking about. We do have the Seven of Wands. You've been sort of standing your ground, because I feel like although you're at the crossroads of your life, this person's holding the Two Wands and the Five are here. You're in indecision about going on this new adventure because there are people in your life who don't want you to go. But here's the decision. Whether that's a decision in love or a choice period that you're making, some sort of a decision here that you've been stuck on before. It could be that some of you are leaving to move in with somebody who you know is your soulmate, your top level, high level vibrational soulmate. You might be wanting to move in with them. You might be wanting to move across the world to be with them. It feels like there's a really big decision that needs to be made, and you're not going to make it in haste. I feel like you're going to try and look at everyone's point of view, but ultimately I feel like you're going to make a decision to go because you know love is here. You're going to go on this new adventure here because that's what the Page of Wands would do. This exciting love that has come at you here. I feel like you have decided that you are going to do whatever it is that you want to do, and you're going to do it in a way that's not planned. I feel like everybody who is naysaying you is somebody who is like, what are you doing? You can't make this very quick decision to just leave medical school and move across the world to see your person. And you're like, yeah, I can. I'm going to think it out. I'm going to see it from every situation, and I promise you I won't make a mistake. But I feel like this is a little bit of self-sacrifice. You are going to have to sacrifice some of the people in your life to get what you want, because what you want is this. You want a reunion with this person, or you just want happiness. You want a new group of friends. You want people to cheer you on and be happy and celebration. And I think that eventually it does come there. It is going to take some work on yourself to see that that this is a happy time for you. It's time to put down those big burdens that you've been carrying around. Just want to see here. Yeah, there it is. Bare essentials you'll be taking with you. You're giving people the naked truth, and you need to make yourself whole again. And that's what the Gaia energy is saying here. I feel like it's going to be a lot of stuff you've got to think through. Don't make any hasty decisions. But I want to say that whatever decisions you're not making, if you decide not to make any because it's too uncomfortable, you are impeding your growth. You've decided to, instead of working on the self, you're going to pick up these burdens and carry them for everybody else. And I think that it's time you stopped, because that's what the Knight of Pentacles is in the reverse. No movement. You need to stop this. It's time for you to go here. It's time for you to liberate yourself and take all of the opportunities that you have been manifesting for a really long time. It's time for you to settle down with the person that you love, possibly the Emperor or the Empress, who, by the way, I feel is your soulmate, and you will have this new beginning with them. Yeah, I've got the Fool there too. I'm going to go for now. Thank you so much for coming here and watching. I do appreciate you. I'll be back because I'm always back. Love you guys. Bye.